This morning I got a message asking if I was available tomorrow, and my answer was no. Not because I couldn't make it work or because I was so incredibly busy, um, but because I had something in my diary that matters to me, and I chose to protect it. And that might sound like a small thing, but for someone who spent most of her life saying yes when she meant no, it felt quite significant to me. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Leslie and welcome to my channel. I've only just retired. I came online after my husband passed away, looking for a purpose more than anything. And then eventually it grew into an online business I still run today alongside my state pension and retirement. And I share this chapter of life honestly, the retirement reality, the things nobody prepares you for, and what it actually looks like to build something on your own terms later in life. Now, if any of that resonates with you, I'd love for you to stick around. Now, back to why I said no this morning. Let me give you a bit of context. For anyone who doesn't know, snagging is a process of identifying, getting fixed all those little defects and unfinished details in a new built home before the developer considers their job is done. Things like paintwork that isn't quite right, that doesn't look quite right, doors that don't close properly, maybe grouting that's being done badly, or missing window keys. So very simple things, and some of it can be a little bit more complicated. And it's all small things individually, but they do add up. And it's the developer's responsibility to put them right. I moved into a new build December 3rd, and I've been going back and forth with the construction company trying to get my snagging list dealt with. 2 weeks ago, the site manager and his right hand man came round, went through my list, promised the world. Everything would be finished, closed off by the end of July. And today is July 28th, and I've not seen them, not heard anything, nothing. And this morning I heard from the right hand man asking if I'm available tomorrow for the cosmetic repair person to come round. Now, I want to be fair, at least they're coming, so some progress is progress. But the problem is, tomorrow doesn't work for me. Every Wednesday morning, I have a standing arrangement. I go out with my girlfriend's dad, Ken, he's 83. We go to the butcher's together, real grass-fed meat, no supermarket junk, the kind of food that actually tastes like something. And we run whatever errands we need between us. And it all started because his cleaner comes on a Wednesday morning. I was here without very many friends, and he needed somewhere to be while she works. So his suggestion was, why don't we go somewhere? So we did. We decided we'd go to the butcher's, and it's become our routine. And I know it's something that we both look forward to. Now, I could have cancelled Ken, and I know he would have understood. He's the most gracious, uncomplaining person. But I'm not going to do that because this weekly outing matters to me, and I know it matters to Ken too. He spends far too much time on his own. And I genuinely hope that our Wednesday mornings give him something to look forward to as much as they give me. And it's not just the company. I buy as little as possible from the supermarkets. I'd much rather put my money into local businesses, the butcher, the farm shop, the independent trader who actually knows what they're selling and cares about it, and they recognize me as a customer. I'm conscious about that now in a way that perhaps I wasn't when I was working a traditional 9 to 5, because convenience had to come first. And even when my traditional 9 to 5 wasn't a traditional 9 to 5, my husband was doing a traditional 9 to 5, and any spare time we liked to hang out together. So yes, the supermarket, whichever one it happened to be, would often become one of our little outings. But now I'm retired and widowed, my time is flexible, and my days are mine to arrange. Now, that didn't sound such a good thing a couple of years ago, but now I'm starting to feel it and enjoy it because it means I can choose where I spend my money as well as how I spend my time. Supporting local businesses is a small thing, but small things done consistently add up to something that matters. And this applies to anything that you might be doing in life. So, bottom line was, I told the construction company Wednesday morning doesn't work. We'll find another day. Now, I want to talk about Ken for a moment because I think he represents something we don't value nearly enough in this society. He is 83 years old and he is one of the most interesting people I know. In fact, bless my dad's soul, Ken is as interesting as he was when he was around. And it's so lovely to have Ken in my life because I haven't got my dad anymore. But you know, Ken, he once travelled to Australia. I call it a tanker ship to visit family. He was staying in the first officer's cabin. And I didn't know that you could do that. Apparently, you can book passage on a cargo ship and travel long haul in a way most people have never even considered, didn't even know. And I had absolutely no idea. And the thing about spending time with someone who has lived a long, rich, curious life, they hold knowledge and experience that you simply cannot Google. Ken keeps my world wider than it would otherwise be. He challenges my thinking. We have healthy debates about the world events, and he offers perspectives shaped by decades I haven't lived through yet. There's an awful lot I don't know, and spending time with Ken reminds me of that in the best possible way. And can I say something that I think a lot of people who work from home or who are retired will relate to? There is an assumption that creeps in from other people, sometimes subtle, sometimes not, that because you're at home every day, you have nothing particularly important going on. Now, I know my dad was a little bit of that state of mind, and we always had to keep reminding him. He used to think because I was at home and I was working, my time was somehow more available, more flexible, if you want, more interruptible. And I do honestly think if that right hand man had seen a man leaving the house every morning in a suit, he wouldn't have dreamt of suggesting someone come around with less than 24 hours' notice. But I'm at home and a woman, so apparently my diary is negotiable. And here's something I want to say. I'm home, but I work. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. I may have retired from the daily commute and the 9 o'clock clocking in, but I still have important things going on in my life. I still have a business to run. I still have commitments I honor, and I still have people who depend on me showing up. Retirement didn't make my time worthless. If anything, it's probably made it more valuable because now I'm the one deciding how it gets spent. And that means less than 24 hours notice doesn't work for me. And it's not because I'm difficult, because I'm not difficult. I'm one of the most easiest going of people. But my time does matter, even when I'm spending it at home. I spent a lot of years being the person who rearranged everything for everyone else. If someone needed me available, I made myself available. If something came up at an inconvenient time, I found a way to accommodate it. I kept the peace. I said yes, when really I wanted to say no. And I think a lot of women of my generation will recognize that pattern. We were raised to be accommodating, to not make a fuss, to put other people's convenience ahead of our own. But retirement has done something interesting to that tendency in me. I've started asking a different question before I say yes to things. Not, can I make this work? But do I actually want to? And that's the interesting question. And this morning, the answer was no. Wednesday morning are mine. They're Ken's too, actually, when I think about it. And they're not something I'm willing to trade for the convenience of a construction company schedule. The repair can happen another day. Ken and I will still have our Wednesday. I think learning to say no, and you don't have to be rude or aggressive, but I do think as I've got older, it's one of the most underrated life skills there is. And I think retirement is actually a surprisingly good time to practice it. Because for the first time in a long time, you get to decide what your days look like, what gets your time, what gets your yes. Some things, the quiet, ordinary, weekly rituals with people you care about, are simply worth protecting, in my opinion. Ken will be outside my door on Wednesday morning, tomorrow, and I'll be ready. Drop in the comments, is there something in your life you've recently chosen to protect? I'd love to know. Please share. Or do you recognize that assumption that being at home means being available? I really would genuinely like to know. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, hit the subscribe button to follow along with my journey. And if you'd like to know more about how I've built an online income that fits around my life and my Wednesdays, the link is in the description below.